Imagine drifting above a silent blue ocean. The surface looks calm, endless, peaceful. Sunlight moves across the waves, and from above, the sea seems almost harmless. But beneath that surface is a world we barely understand. A world of pressure, darkness, cold water, and ancien secret. Now imagine something enormous moving below you. Too large to be any shark alive today. Too powerful to belong to the modern sea. A shadow from another age. A predator built to rule the ocean. This is the legend of Megalodon. The largest predatory shark science has ever known. For millions of years, it haunted the ancient seas. It hunted whales before humans ever existed. It carried teeth bigger than a human hand, and its bite may have been one of the most powerful weapons in natural history. But one question still captures the imagination. What if Megalodon was not completely gone? What if something like it still moved beneath the ocean, far below our ships, cameras, and satellites? Tonight, we follow that possibility into the abyss. Not as a fact, but as a journey through science, fear, and the mystery of the deep. To understand the myth, we must begin with the real animal. Megalodon was not simply a bigger great white shark. It was a different kind of ocean ruler. Scientists know it mostly from teeth and fossil evidence. Like modern sharks, its skeleton was made mostly of cartilage, and cartilage rarely fossilizes like bone. So the teeth became its message from the past. Uge triangular blades, serrated edges, designed to cut through flesh, bone, and blubber. These were not tools of chance. They belonged to a predator built for massive prey. Ancient whales were among its primary targets. Fossil whale bones show bite marks that match giant shark teeth. Some attacks may have targeted fins, tails, or vital areas, disabling prey before the final kill. Megalodon was not only large, it was strategic. It lived in warm oceans across the world. Its teeth have been found on multiple continents, which means this predator once had a global empire. For millions of years, it sat near the top of the food chain. But even rulers can fall. Around 6 million years ago, Megalodon disappeared. The oceans changed. Temperatures shifted. Habitats transformed. Prey moved. Competitors entered the stage. Whales changed too, becoming harder to hunt. And for a giant predator, size can become a weakness. A massive body needs massive food. If the food disappears, the giant follows. This is the accepted scientific story. Megalodon is extinct. And yet, the ocean is good at keeping secrets. We have explored only a fraction of the deep sea. New species still appear from the darkness. Strange fish rise from depths once thought lifeless. Giant squid moved from legend into reality. Coelacanths survived after science thought they were gone. So the question refuses to die. Could a giant shark hide where we rarely look? To test that idea, we must think like scientists. A living megalodon would need space. A predator that large could not survive in a small hidden cave. It would need enormous hunting grounds. It would need access to large prey. It would need enough food to support a body the size of a bus. The deep sea is vast, but much of it is not rich. It is a desert of darkness. Food falls slowly from above as marine snow. That may be enough for small creatures, but not for a giant shark built to hunt whales. A living megalodon would likely need productive waters, places where whales, seals, and fish gather. And that would make it very hard to hide. Modern oceans are watched by satellites, ships, drones, cameras, fishing fleets, and whale researchers. A giant predator would leave signs, massive bite marks, unusual carcasses, fresh teeth, DNA, footage, repeated encounters. So far, science has found none. But imagination does not need proof to begin a story. Picture a research submarine dropping into the open ocean. Above it, sunlight breaks into silver lines. Below it, the water darkens with every meter. The crew is searching for deep-sea life. Cameras scan the black water. Sonar sweeps through silence. 4 hours. There is almost nothing. A few drifting fish, a curtain of marine snow, the ghostly pulse of a jellyfish. Then the sonar detects a shape. Large, moving slowly beneath the submarine. At first, the crew thinks it is a whale. But whales breathe air. This shape does not rise. It circles below, silent and patient. The submarine lights turn toward the darkness. Something pale flashes beyond the beam. A fin, enormous and slow. A tail cuts through the black water. Then the head emerges. Wider than the front of the submarine. Rows of teeth curve into the darkness. The crew has found the impossible. A living shadow from the ancient ocean. But could such a moment ever truly happen? To answer that, we compare Megalodon with modern sharks. The great white is one of today's most powerful marine predators. It can grow over 6 meters long. It uses speed, their prize, and massive bite force. But Megalodon may have been more than twice as long. Some estimates place it around 15 to 18 meters. That is not simply bigger. That is a different level of power. Its mouth could have opened wide enough to swallow a human easily. Its teeth were built for tearing through whales, a modern great white bites and shakes. Megalodon may have crushed, cut, and disabled massive prey. It was not hunting small fish as its main meal. It was hunting the giants of its time. And that makes the survival question even harder. If Megalodon still existed, where are the missing whales? Where are the fresh bite marks? Where are the enormous teeth washing ashore? Fossil teeth are ancient, mineralized, and weathered. A living population would produce modern remains. Science would expect evidence, and that evidence has not appeared. Still, the myth grows because the ocean feels unlimited. When we look at the sea, we see a surface, but below it are mountains, trenches, plains, canyons, and places deeper than Everest is tall. There are vents that burn with chemical energy. There are creatures that look impossible. So people ask, why not Megalodon? The answer is not that the ocean is too small. The answer is that giants leave footprints in the sea. Those footprints are ecological. A predator that large would shape the behavior of prey. Whales would avoid certain areas. Carcasses would carry unusual damage. Marine biologists would notice patterns. Fishermen would have stories that matched physical evidence, not just rumors. Repeated biological clues. The fact that we do not see those clues matters. It tells us the monster is almost certainly gone. But the emotional truth remains. Megalodon represents what humans fear about the deep. The idea that something huge could exist beyond our sight. The idea that the past could still be alive below us. The idea that the ocean has not finished surprising us. That fear is older than science. Sailors once filled empty maps with sea monsters, serpents, krakens, and impossible whales. Not because they were foolish, but because the ocean truly was unknown. Today, Megalodon has become our modern sea monster. A fossil turned into a legend. A real animal transformed by imagination. But let us return to the ancient world where it truly lived. Millions of years ago, the seas were warmer. Whale species were evolving and spreading. Coastal nurseries may have held young megalodons, just as some modern sharks use safer shallow waters for their young. Even a future giant begins life vulnerable. A young megalodon would have hunted smaller prey, growing larger with every successful kill. Eventually, it would leave the nursery and move into the open sea, where whales moved like living islands. There, the young predator would become a ruler. Its muscular body would drive through the water with force. Its senses would detect vibration, scent, movement, and electrical signals from living animals. Imagine a whale calf separated from its group. The water is bright and warm. Then the sea below darkens. A massive shape rises from beneath. The attack is not random. It comes from below, where escape is hardest. The jaws close with catastrophic force. Bone cracks. Water erupts. The hunt begins. This was the ancient ocean at its most brutal, not a monster movie. A real ecosystem built on hunger. But ecosystems change as the planet cooled. Ocean patterns shifted. Nursery habitats may have declined. Prey became less available or moved differently. Competition increased. Extinction rarely happens in one dramatic moment. It is often a slow closing of doors. Less food here, fewer nurseries there, more competition everywhere. A giant can survive many problems, but not endless problems at once. Eventually, Megalodon's teeth disappear from the fossil record. The ruler of the ancient sea was gone. Now let us imagine the impossible one more time. If a hidden population survived, how many would there need to be? Not one. A species cannot survive for millions of years as a single animal. There would need to be breeding groups, enough individuals to avoid collapse, enough territory to feed them, enough young to replace the old. Such a population would be almost impossible to hide, especially if it hunted large marine mammals. The ocean is mysterious, but it is not magic. Biology still has rules. Energy must come from somewhere. Bodies leave traces. Predators change ecosystems. This is why scientists reject the idea of a living megalodon, not because it is boring, but because the evidence points clearly to extinction. And yet, the story still matters. Megalodon teaches us how powerful the ocean once was. It reminds us that today's seas are only one chapter. Before our time, different giants ruled. Different battles shaped the water. Different shadows moved below the waves. The great white is fearsome today, but it swims in the echo of a much larger predator. The whale is massive today, but its ancestors once faced a shark built to kill giants. That is the true power of Megalodon. It changes how we imagine the sea. Not as calm blue water, but as an ancient battlefield, a place where evolution built weapons from flesh and teeth, a place where size was both crown and curse. The larger the predator, the more the world must feed it. When that world changes, giants fall first. This pattern repeats throughout natural history. Dinosaurs vanished when their world collapsed. Ice Age mammals faded as climates shifted. Megalodon, too, was powerful but not untouchable. It ruled until the ocean no longer favored it. That makes it more interesting than a monster. It makes it a warning from the past. No predator is bigger than the system that supports it. No giant survives without balance. And no ruler keeps the throne forever. Still, somewhere in every ocean shadow, the legend remains. A dark shape beneath a boat. A tooth found in a child's hand on a beach. A whale carcass drifting under grey skies. A sonar signal no one can explain. These moments keep the myth alive. Not because they prove Megalodon survives, but because they remind us how little we control. The sea is older than us, deeper than our machines can easily reach, and stranger than our imagination can comfortably hold. If Megalodon still lived, the ocean would tell us, through scars, through teeth, through missing prey, through evidence too large to ignore. But what we have instead is silence. Fossils in stone, teeth in museum drawers, and stories in the human mind. Perhaps that is where Megalodon truly survives. Not in the water, but in the space between science and fear. In every dark wave that makes us wonder. In every deep trench we have not fully seen. In every shadow that moves beneath the surface. The monster is gone. But the question remains, what else has the ocean hidden from us? What other giants have risen and vanished? What stories are still buried beneath the blue? Megalodon may never return, but its shadow still shapes our imagination. It reminds us that the sea was once ruled by teeth, that giants can vanish, and that mystery can survive long after the monster is gone. Somewhere below, the deep remains dark. Somewhere above, we keep looking down. And in that darkness, Megalodon still waits. Not as a living shark, but as a legend